This summer has been, well, a lot for us. But we're finally getting some time to breathe. These past few months were a full and joyous close to this time in our lives. Towards the summer's beginning, we were frantically looking for housing in an extremely competitive rental market. Trying to find something that we could afford, knowing that I would be leaving one of my primary jobs behind and would be starting off with slightly less of an income than we had in Seattle. As the city we were moving to was a college town, decent rentals got scooped up almost immediately, and though we were looking nearly constantly and willing to make the drive up to visit somewhere and put a deposit down, time after time, someone else got there first. One afternoon, we had an email from a complex we were hoping for, letting us know that they would have a unit open at the end of the summer, and it wasn't yet posted online. We had less than 24 hours to make our decision without being able to see the unit in question. In this stressful period, I decided to spend a decent amount of time getting into an altered state of consciousness with yoga and meditation, and then asked for some guidance with my tarot deck. Through the meditation and the reading, the answer I got back from my intuition and from the cards was a loud and resounding yes. Make the call, send back the paperwork, know that this is going to be right. And oh, how right it was. Here we are in a place that honestly feels perfect. Not the remote forest home that we're dreaming of for our permanent stopping place, but the perfect penultimate place. Our last couple years of living in town, in a very cute area, with all the shops and restaurants and nature and activities and trails and trees that we could want. I have put seeds into the ground, and I get to bask in the western evening sunlight. I love it here, and I am really happy. But before we made it here, there was still a whole summer to be had. Since I've been a bit too busy to post much recently, here are some of the moments that I feel represent this time well. Every year, I like to celebrate my small amount of French heritage and my Francophilia by celebrating Bastille Day, or the French Fête Nationale.
Alright, so today is Bastille Day, it's le 14 juillet, and it's the French national holiday. And I am not, French, just, a little bit of ancestry, but always been interested in the culture and the language, and that's the language I've been working on basically since I was a teenager, I don't know. Also, you can see it's a sleepy kitty over here. Oh, I'm taking a bath now, I guess. But yeah, normally Colin and I celebrate this holiday together by, making a good meal, watching a French movie, listening to French music, drinking French wine. But he's on a trip to visit some family in California right now, so I'm gonna do those things by myself, and I'm gonna start by walking into the grocery store to go get some stuff for dinner. Not 100% on what it's gonna be yet, but it's gonna taste good, and there's gonna be good wine. So that's a win for me.
Normally this includes listening to some 40s jazz or French jazz manouche with my coffee, taking a long walk, picking up good bread, cheese, French wine, and ingredients for a French-inspired meal. Okay, I got something for a snack and for a sip. No idea what this is gonna taste like. Probably grapes, though. Woo! This has gotten a little tricky as I phased out meats other than poultry and am working towards being mostly pescatarian, but I think for a celebration, a little coq au vin is quite all right. In July, we took a mini vacation while we hosted our friend's summer. Colin and I love Western Washington and are always so happy to share its beauty and other offerings with friends from out of town. On this particular trip, we spent some time on Whidbey Island, including a trip to the Earth Sanctuary, a little nature reserve with tones of spirituality and mindfulness. Picking up some freshly roasted coffee beans from a favorite breakfast and coffee spot, the Mukilteo Roastery, where I took absolutely no video. That's very cute. We did some wine tasting and had a delicious dinner. We followed that with a hike and, of course, some fantastic pastries the next day. The hike we chose is one that Colin and I love, but had only done in the spring, and it turns out it gets completely overgrown in the summer. The onslaught of bushwhacking plus the multiple sightings of bear scat told us it was time to turn around and find somewhere else to enjoy the woods, which was fine by me. For one of the activities in my circle, we did meditative and spiritually inclined process art. I felt like taking my time with this one, so I turned on some of my favorite ambient music, lit some incense, started with a brief meditation, and then just felt like painting swirlies and elaborating upon those swirlies. I don't paint figures or still life or landscapes, but I do love painting just abstract color. This summer was all that and much, much more. Bits that aren't interesting to watch and pieces I don't feel like sharing. Maybe there were moments you would have loved to see, but I was busy living them outside of a lens. Life happens that way, and sometimes the choice that feels better is leaving the most precious of times to yourself. This is a hard lesson for this era, when the internet practically screams at you to produce more content. I'm going to do things my way, and try my best not to let that make me feel inadequate. As the season of warmth neared its end, we started packing up our apartment and preparing for some very welcome change. Moving is always a challenge, and getting everything out of a home can feel like a stressful, down-to-the-wire experience of sweat and muscle aches, scratched skin, and dirty hands. But after all that, the excitement kicks in, and suddenly it's time for nesting and reshaping your life. As I read this, we've been here for 5 weeks now. Nowhere near enough time to feel like I really know this region well, but enough time to feel a little bit settled in a new space. I'm getting to know these trees, and I'm watering the seedlings I planted. I'm settling into routine again and trying to expand it by meeting more people, which can be a challenge for us introverts. But one of the reasons we moved was that we felt starved of community. Seattle is a very big city, and that sometimes made it a challenge to feel like we knew many people there, especially when most friends lived way across town, not to mention those that moved away. The size here, however, feels promising for being connected with the community as a whole, rather than being just one person out of a million, or, well, to be more specific, 900,000. I've never been one for the big city idealization anyways. No, we much prefer something a little quieter, and we found that here. There's surely a long way to go before we'll feel like we're from this place, but so far we've loved that journey. This was such a good change for us, and it served as an excellent reminder to look down at all the pieces of your life and really ask, what is important to keep and what could be better off with some healthy change? I most likely don't know your life and your story, but if you'd ask me, I'd say make that jump. Your future self is waiting to meet you on the other side. See you soon, friends.